Charlie Parsons, Fightstars TV. Delighted to be joined here with, some say, my older brother, Mr. Frank Smith. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm just happy before this interview started, you said I looked 10 years younger. So, put me in a good mood, mate.
He's actually lying. I definitely did not say that. No, I'm joking. I did. Obviously here, Benn, Van Heerden, massive fight week. Manchester, last time Liverpool. I imagine, first the British expansion, then the global expansion for Conor Benn. Just your first thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, look, this is a fight that is a huge fight for Conor Benn. After this, we know we need to deliver a mega fight, and this is a potential stumbling block for Conor Benn because Chris Van Heerden's a real experienced fighter. He's been in there with the best, and I think he's going to bring a different challenge to what Conor Benn has been in with before. And Conor's 25 years old, and if you would have said a couple of years ago that he would have been, would have knocked out Chris Algieri in the fashion he did, and then go in there and fight Chris Van Heerden, people would have said you're mad, I think. So look, this is a big night for him and a good test. First southpaw he's faced, and I think he's going to learn a lot in there on Saturday night, and hopefully another big win like we saw against Chris Algieri.
With hype and popularity and more media training and stuff like that, obviously comes negativity. There has been negativity around this fight. I would like to address that. Obviously, Van Heerden been out once in the last couple of years. That was a one-round no contest against Bouts. Just obviously your thoughts on the fight itself. You're justifying for making the fight, and sort of what people are saying, sort of your response to that.
Look, I think, like I said, Chris Van Heerden's a very experienced fighter. He's been in there with some of the best, and these are the type of fights Conor Benn needs. Conor would fight anyone tomorrow. He'd fight all the big names that we've spoken about tomorrow, but he needs to be sort of developed at the right time, and I think that's what we've all done a great job with. Tony Sims as well has done a great job, and I think there's so much more to bring. And as you say, ultimately it all just comes down to pressure of the public. As soon as he becomes this big star, everyone starts questioning things. Like I said, 2-3 years ago, would you have expected Conor Benn to fight Chris Van Heerden and Chris Algieri back to back? Like back then?
No, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. So this is all part of the development of Conor Benn. Look, Van Heerden has had a period of time out of the ring, as have a lot of fighters, especially during the COVID period. There's been less events, there's been a struggle travelling, but he's 100% prepared for this. He's in great shape, and he believes he can come here and win. He's been asking for this fight for a long time, and I think it's going to be a good fight, and I think as I say, Conor's going to learn a lot in there.
Conor, the star in the UK, during Bouts, Ennis, the star in the US. If worlds collide, for example, obviously we know just how highly you rate Conor and you'll back your man, but if Conor were to fight someone like Bouts next, I know that probably won't be the case, but if he were next time, how do you compare the two of them? Do you believe Conor is on Bouts' level? Do you believe if they were to fight, Conor would beat Bouts?
Look, I think that would be a massive fight. I think Bouts, obviously as you say, fought Van Heerden. Was it a couple of years ago?
Yeah, lockdown.
Yeah, and look, he's gone through great progression, and that would be a real tough fight for Conor Benn. But Conor Benn would go in there and fight anyone, and he has the ability to go in there as all these do. He's a top star. As you said, he's top 5, top 10 in all of the sanctioning bodies. So I believe he would go in there, and it would be a great fight. Both guys though have got the ability to beat each other, and that's the great thing about boxing. But maybe that's a fight for down the road. I think there's a lot of other big names as well we want to look at for Conor Benn. I don't think Ennis has the huge name. Like, he's a great fighter, but he doesn't have that massive name, that marquee name that we want to get for Conor Benn for his next big fight.
Of course, it was just more like if it were to happen kind of.
Who would win, basically?
Yeah, I was thinking as you were answering, that was quite a clever answer from yourself. Let's move on to Fury-Whyte.
Clever answers.
Let's move on to Fury-Whyte. US have got a price point of $69.99 for the pay-per-view.
He's got his phone out right behind here with some thoughts, some questions, and on the top it says Eddie Hearn. So basically, you're asking me the questions for Eddie Hearn. Because you got like the work experience version of him, didn't you?
Obviously.
Maybe next time just put Eddie Hearn or his fat friend.
Okay, well, you're slimming down a little bit, mate.
Well, exactly. So, someone's got it.
Let's talk about the Fury-Whyte US pay-per-view. Price point, $70, near enough. Well, 1 cent out. Just your thoughts on it. Obviously, you as a company, Matchroom, have said, look, Dazn pay-per-view at that price, not Dazn, but pay-per-view at that price point in America is dead. Fury not American, Dillian White obviously not American. I suppose they're trying to build, and they are building Fury's name out there, but not superstar level yet. Just your thoughts on how many pay-per-view buys you think that'll do?
I can't quite believe they've gone pay-per-view at near $70 for that fight. A fight coming in at 5 o'clock Eastern time, 2 p.m. Pacific time, is absolute insanity, in my opinion. And that's not because it's not a great fight. It is a great fight, but you can do great fights that aren't necessarily relevant to a market. And as you say, 2 British guys fighting for the heavyweight world title maybe isn't as relevant as as like Wilder against Fury or Wilder against Dillian White. That I could understand the argument of it being pay-per-view, but still wouldn't do massive buys in the UK because of the timing. So, yeah, I'm not sure about it. I think it will struggle to do more than 30,000 pay-per-view buys.
Sorry, I thought Eddie was doing a scrum, and I was going to say, could we continue this a little bit later?
We're going to get a chance to go and interview Eddie, and you basically just mugged me off for about 12 seconds. But
a little bit. It's a numbers game, Frank. It's a numbers game. You'll get there, my friend.
I don't do as big a numbers as him.
Well, no, you don't.
Do you want me to say something controversial?
Absolutely. That's why I'm pushing you with these questions. Dillian White, Tyson Fury, virtual press conference tonight. Dillian's first involvement. Just your thoughts. Ed, I heard Eddie say over there it's probably contractual that he has to make some form of appearance. Obviously, the fight next week. Have you spoke to Dillian? Why is he appearing now and not before, kind of thing?
I think there were lots of things they were still sorting out. As you say, I'm sure there's some kind of obligation to do certain things. We saw the post from him yesterday. As you say, he got that press event later. I haven't spoken to him. He's obviously in Portugal training hard. He's focused on that. Wished him happy birthday the other day. I didn't sing it to him, unlike others. And massive fight. It's a massive fight, and it's going to be a huge night next Saturday.
That actually was my next question. Obviously, we saw Frank Warren in the office sort of perform Dillian a little serenade, a little happy birthday. Just your thoughts on that?
Great singer. Really good singer. And the rest of the team as well. It was funny, wasn't it? Very, very funny of him. Maybe that's what pulled Dillian away from his silence. He couldn't deal with any more singing, so he thought he'd do a post himself.
We're just over a week away now. Obviously, Dillian has a good relationship with Matchroom. You've worked, so you're going to back him. But he's in a tough fight. We know just how good Tyson Fury is. We've seen every time Tyson Fury goes in, and whether there's doubters, this time not. But Dillian definitely an underdog. But you believe that he can win on next Saturday?
100%, I believe he can win. Look, don't get me wrong. Tyson Fury right now is the number 1 heavyweight in the world. He's proved that. He's gone in there. He's done the business. But when the best fight the best, as we see, with top 5, 6 heavyweights, I think they can all beat each other. And I think Dillian definitely has ways he can beat Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has ways he can beat Dillian White. They've all got their own, their own strengths. But 100%, I believe Dillian White can go in there and do the business, and I think he's going to knock him out.
David Haye has picked Dillian White to win. Every time he's picked Tyson Fury's opponent, when Tyson Fury's fighting, he's picked Tyson Fury's opponent to win every single time. Just your thoughts on David Haye picking Dillian to win?
He's picked Tyson Fury's opponent to win every time.
So he picked Deontay Wilder to win all 3, and he's picked Dillian White to win this fight.
Maybe he sees something that some other people don't see. I think ultimately it's that in heavyweight boxing, as we've seen time and time again, anything can happen, and that's what we could see again next Saturday night. We could see many results next Saturday night, but I believe that Dillian White's going to go in there and do the business. He waited a long time for this. This is the fight he's worked his whole life for, and I believe he's got all the strengths and attributes to be able to do it. But a very tough fight against Tyson Fury. Alexander
Usyk, Anthony Joshua, the rematch. I spoke to Adam Smith in Newcastle. They seem very, very confident that will be a Sky pay-per-view fight. Just your thoughts, obviously. You will want, I know it's not an obligation to provide for Dazn, but just for the platform itself and what you're doing, you will want that fight on Dazn, I'd imagine. Anything that you can tell us?
Look, it's been quite public. AJ's always been outside of any deal we've done, like this Dazn deal. Definitely everyone's interested in Anthony Joshua. Of course they are. He's the biggest pay-per-view star in the UK, and he's up there, one of the biggest stars in world boxing, alongside the likes of Canelo. No one else rivals him, especially in the UK. And everyone wants him on the platform. So, look, Sky undoubtedly have done an amazing job. As we all, we've all worked together very well. We've obviously taken a different turn now and got a great partnership with Dazn. Dazn, I'm sure, Dazn are very interested. Sky are very interested. But let's see how things play out. AJ and his team as well, 258 management, Freddie. We're in constant discussions with him about the plans for the next steps. And as soon as there's more info, we'll let everyone know. I mean, the key thing is we've got to get the fight up and running and announced and details announced, and I'm sure all of that will follow with it.
These guys seem confident, though. I imagine it's so. Are they the front runners?
Look, Sky have had a great partnership with Anthony Joshua and Matchroom as well. Look, when did it start? 9 years ago now, and he's been with Sky for all of those fights. So you can't say in any way. Of course, Sky are the primary sort of contenders because they've been with him since day one. But there's a lot of interest in the market for him. There's a lot of interest from a load of different broadcasters for Anthony Joshua. Of course there is. If I was a broadcaster and I had a platform, I'd want to sign Anthony Joshua. So let's see how it plays out. And like I say, as soon as we know more, you will know.
July 23, Saudi Arabia the front runner?
July 23 is a very potential date, yes. Saudi Arabia is a potential location as well as...
So good at answering these, Frank.
I'm so good at answering questions. I mean, that's lucky.
Giving the corporate answer.
That's lucky, really.
Yeah.
I'm the corporate man.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do? You want me to tell you the truth?
I'm trying to squeeze it.
No, July 23 is you can squeeze all you want, but I'm not like an orange. Nothing, no juice comes out.
Usyk's wife has said he's lost as much as 22 pounds, and that was just in the first week of the stress. People have, images of Usyk have been circulating online saying he looks, a lot slimmer. Obviously, going into camp, I know he have time, but with that sort of drastic weight loss, that's a lot to deal with. From what you guys would have spoken to Alex Krasuk and the team, is he okay to take this fight?
Yeah, look, I spoke to Alex Krasuk a couple of days ago now. Alexander Usyk's in training. He's 100% motivated and ready to go for this fight. He's obviously had much bigger things going on in his mind, and rightly so. And our thoughts go out to everyone affected. But he's, like I say, 100% in training. He has been now for, I guess, since the news came out a couple of weeks ago now, or maybe 10 days, 2 weeks ago now. And he's fully focused on it, and he wants the rematch, and that's the plan, and we're going ahead with it.
Errol Spence Jr. against Ugas this weekend, obviously a massive fight in the welterweight division. How far away do you believe Conor Benn is from these kind of guys?
Look, I think, they're definitely fight. Conor, like I said to you, Conor Benn would fight anyone tomorrow. Would have fought them.
I'm sure he would, but what I'm saying to you is, do you believe?
I still think Conor Benn needs more fight. He's 25 years old, Conor Benn, and he's still growing and learning, like I've said about this fight. And I think as many big fights we want to make for him, whether that's like the likes of Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Kell Brook, Amir Khan, Chris Eubank Jr. in a few, there's many fights for him. Spence is obviously, look, in the division, he's the king of the division. So Conor in time, I think that's definitely a fight we should make. But is that a year from now maybe? Is that a year and a half? Let's see. I don't think, not because Conor Benn hasn't got the ability in the sport, but I just think everyone over time is a great for learning, isn't it? And he's still got things to learn. So that's a fight for down the road for sure.
Just finally from me, it looks like Gervonta Tank Davis will be becoming a free agent after his fight with Rollies. Obviously, sort of bit of bickering back and forth with him and Mayweather. He was annoyed that Mayweather did, announce the exhibition on the day that his announcement was. Just your thoughts on that sort of clash between Mayweather, I suppose, Ellaby involvement in that as well, Tank, and I imagine you will be trying to pursue that very heavily if, he becomes a free agent.
Look, I think everyone would love to work with Gervonta. He's a massive star, he does great numbers, and I'm sure that Mayweather Promotions and Showtime are pushing very hard to keep him, do a new deal for him. So in terms of us, 100%, we'd love to work with Gervonta. So let's see how things play out. But he's got to focus on his fight first and foremost, and then get the win there, and then hopefully we can try and make that happen.
Just finally from me, that was gonna be my last one, but just obviously back in the last year there was sort of funny beef going back and forth between Eddie and Leonard. Leonard I think said that he'd punch him or whatever. I mean, if you guys were to sign Tank, that really would create an angry Leonard and a fight that would, I don't know, people were joking and laughing about it. Just your thoughts. I mean, if Eddie and Leonard were to have a little muck about.
Look, I think there's lots of people who would be interested in signing Gervonta Davis. Like every promoter out there would want to sign Gervonta Davis when if he was a free agent. In terms of Eddie and Leonard Ellaby, I'll give Eddie a win by KO, early rounds, 60 seconds in, mate.
Top man. Cheers, Frank.